Hi, I'm Dave Kelly, professional speaker, trainer, author, and coach. I work primarily with college and university students, speaking and training on leadership, engagement, and personal development. I am known as the International Student Leadership Trainer for my work with students throughout North America and other places. I was named as a Lecturer of the Year by the Canadian Organization for Campus Activities in 2023 and as Campus Speaker of the Year by the Association for the Promotion of Campus Activities in 2019 and 2022. I have worked in this field for over 21 years. This video is made up of 3 different presentations with clips that'll show you some of my material, my presentation style, and also hopefully encourage you to select me to showcase for your upcoming conference. At the end of the video, you will find my contact information. So feel free to reach out if you have questions or would like to visit my website to learn more about me and the programs that I present. Thank you for your consideration. And maybe this weekend will be a pivotal moment for you. And so you've got to watch out for those pivotal moments. Because I think when it comes down to leadership, my feeling is the ability to win elections doesn't make you a leader. It's what you do with it and how you do it and how you go about it. And so that's what I want to share with you a little bit about here in this showcase. My pivotal moment, as I mentioned, happened when I was in high school. I was in Key Club in high school. Anybody that was in Key Club, got a few Key Club members, or maybe you had one in your high school. And near the end of my junior year, our club president came into a meeting. I lived in Wisconsin, and he said that there was going to be a convention of Key Clubs going on up in Green Bay. And I thought that would be really cool to go to Green Bay. I went to a high school of less than 400 people in a village of under 4,000. Green Bay had 80,000 people at the time. So to me, it was a big city. And I'd saved some money up from a job I had the summer before on a farm. I've been saving it up to take this girl to prom. But when I asked her, she turned me down. She was waiting for some other guy to ask her. And he never did. So she had to stay home and I had to go to Green Bay. Well, when I got there, I was blown away. There were over 600 students there. And they had posters up all over, people running for offices. And that first night, they put us into a meeting room. And there were 2 groups in here. This is an exact replica of the state of Wisconsin. This is Green Bay, this is Milwaukee, and I was from here. And there were about 5 or 6 schools from our part of the state over here. And then from way up north, there were about 10 schools over on this side. And in between the people running for all these big offices, this guy would get up in front of this side of the room and he would tell them what he would do if they would elect him to be their representative. The position was called Lieutenant Governor. Okay? But nobody was in front of our side of the room. And the guy running the meeting was just begging for somebody to run. And after a while, my advisor nudged me and he said, "Why don't you do it?" And I said, "Me? How can I do that? I don't even know what that is. How can I be on the state board? I've never even been an officer in our club." But I thought about it and I realized I'll raise my hand, they'll see I'm not any good and don't know anything, and somebody better will get elected. So I raised my hand and I said, "I'll do it." And I learned a lesson about volunteering that night. You tend to get what you volunteer for. Well, I went home and I just did everything they said to do. And at the end of the year, we had 14 of those positions in our state, and they gave out 2 awards for the most outstanding lieutenant governors, and I was one of them. And then, thank you. Oh, it gets better. Then I got nominated for the International Award, and that summer in Washington, D.C., in front of 3,000 people, out of 700 lieutenant governors in the whole organization, only 14 were named outstanding, and I was one of them. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's still on my wall. And then I went into the collegiate group because I had so much fun. I wanted to do that too. And it's called CKI. And I know we have somebody here who's in CKI. I mentioned earlier today. And so I did that and I got to be international president, which was really cool. The coolest thing I did was I got to speak in Vienna, Austria in a sports arena in front of 10,000 people. That was cool. Got to go to the Bahamas. That was cool. New York, LA, cool. Aberdeen, South Dakota in February, cold. Cool people, and I loved it. And then I went into the parent group, which is called Kiwanis. When I moved to Georgia, and I got to be a state advisor. And because I was a state advisor, I was at a training conference with clubs from all over the state of Georgia, and our college students were there too. and we had a big session to start the day. And after the session, I was talking with some of the students, and there was this woman who had won, her club had won an award earlier, and she jumped up and down and screamed, so we all noticed her. And she came up front and started talking to the students, and one of the students turned to me and he said, "Dave, I'd like you to meet Dia. Dia, meet Dave." And in that moment, I met my wife. Glad I didn't go to prom. In this program, we talk about membership retention. One of the things to do when you're recruiting for members, be honest and upfront about what your organization is. We focus on the sizzle, the image. We got to think about the substance. Let me show you an example. Anybody tell me what's wrong with this picture? No diversity, yes, but look closer. No t-shirts, that's right. They're selling t-shirts. These are very pretty people, but shouldn't somebody be wearing a t-shirt? Yeah, in fact, the dude on the end with the weird smile, I think he's naked. So that is not good. They used that catalog for about 10 years. Now this guy, look at him. He is one of the best doctors in New York. And doesn't he look the part? He's got the lab coat, the scrubs, the chart. His name is on it. That's a good looking doctor. Just one problem, what's his specialty? Yeah, hair transplantation, and he's bald. I'm not going to a bald hair transplant doctor. I've got more hair than he does. So we've got to focus on the substance and tell people what we really are. We're talking about mentorship today, and I am really thrilled I'd be talking about this topic. You know, I think there have been some great mentors throughout history that we can look back on. People that have wisdom to share, and they help bring along other people with that wisdom. Or those who seem to be almost magical in their ability to lead their charges and those in their care and mentor others to show them the way. But then there are some very fierce mentors who will defend and watch after the people that they mentor to make sure that no harm comes to them and that only the best will happen for them. And then there's those mentors who show the way rather than telling the way so that others can find what's best for them. And I'm going to ask you to think about this. Who has mentored you? Who in your life? Think about the different people that there have been. Teachers, co-workers, professors, fellow Kiwanians, fellows. When I think about this, I think about one mentor, and that was Larry Ritgarn, who was the past governor and past Circle K district administrator for the Minnesota Dakotas district. Yeah, we're right here in his area, yeah, absolutely. And I knew him for a long time, and I remember talking to him once, and he was talking to me about recruitment. And he said, you know, we spend so much time telling people about what we already do that we never ask them what they want to do when they get into Kiwanis. So he switched it, and he started saying to people, well, what do you think the community needs? What do you think our Kiwanis Club should do to help address that? And once he'd hear their ideas, he would say, that is so great. How about you join our club and we'll put you in charge of it? He was mentoring them before they even knew he was doing it. That's a great mentor. So lots of people that we have are mentors. And I'm just wondering, is your mentor in this room? Look around, maybe they are. If you're near them and you can reach them, give them a high five, you can give them a hug, maybe a fist bump. If they're a little further away, just point to them and give them some love. And some of you are going like, me? When I think about this also, I think about all the students I've had a chance to mentor. And you heard in my introduction that I received the Circle of Service Award from CKI in 2021. Stay with me, I'm not bragging. But I say this because when I read the nominators' letters that were submitted for the award, every one of them talked about how they saw me as a mentor and how my mentorship had affected them. That touched me very deeply, and it really impressed upon me just how important it is to mentor others.